A meeting in Bucharest with Romanian civil society organizations and students way back in 2014, then Vice President and present-day President of the United States of America, Joe Biden, said, "Corruption is a cancer that eats away at a citizen's faith in democracy, diminishes the instinct for innovation and creativity." End of quote. It's a great pleasure that I welcome you to this edition of your anti-corruption program, The Eagle, right here on the network service of the NTA. Stay with us for insight into the hazards of economic and financial crimes and ways of bringing them to their knees. Now, today we'll cast our searchlight on the evils of phishing scam. I am Martha Eche, your anchor. Stay with us. It's The Eagle, your anti-corruption program from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Let's go straight to the news corner for updates on EFCC since last week. Our first story comes from the headquarters of EFCC in Abuja, where the outgoing acting chairman of the EFCC hands over the leadership of the commission to the new chairman. Now, let's get a full story and more from Ngondu Ngweta.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has begun another phase of its journey under the new executive chairman, Abdul Rashid Bawa. Mr. Bawa took over the reins of leadership from his predecessor, Abba Umar, who served in acting capacity. At the handover ceremony, the outgoing chairman, Mr. Umar, was optimistic that his successor was up to the task.
Today we are gathered to witness the proverbial exchange of baton as Bawa takes the reins as executive chairman. And I want to congratulate him for a well-deserved appointment and wish him well in his new assignment. I'm particularly delighted to be handing over the affairs of the commission to Abdul Rashid Bawa. This is because he's an officer with whom I have enjoyed a close working relationship and who contributed immensely to our collective efforts in the war against economic and financial crimes. I have no doubt that he will do well and join all staff to accord him the same support that I have received over the last 7.5 months.
In his response, the incoming chairman of the EFCC, who promised to work with all stakeholders to fight economic and financial crimes, mapped out some strategies that would guide his administration and use the opportunity to strengthen the staff of the Commission in their resolve to fight economic crimes.
The Commission have identified that there is difference between fighting corruption and fighting corrupt people. And that going forward, we are going to be proactive in our approach in the fight against economic and financial crimes. And by being proactive is by way of having what we all know to be intelligence-led investigation. We are going to digitalize our processes, and we are going to create a new full-fledged Directorate of Intelligence to enable us gather intelligence so that we will be proactive in our fight against economic and financial crime. It is a time for work and more work and more work. The problems associated with economic and financial crimes is well known to us. It has been articulated on the pages of newspapers. We have investigated them, we have prosecuted them, we have seen it, and we know where the problem is. And God willing, with your help and assistance as management and staff of the Commission, we are going to conquer it to live up to our vision and mission of ridding this country of economic and financial crimes.
40-year-old Abdul Rashid Bawa was confirmed by the Senate as the first core staff of EFCC to head the affairs of the Commission. Ngondu Ngweta for The Eagle.
As individuals, we have our different identities by which people know us. Our identities give us access to different platforms in life and economy. We have our names by which we're known or through which we enter some spaces. We have passwords that open doors for us. Now, these identities are supposed to be ours and ours alone. But what happens when another party gets a hold of this secret information and begins to use them as if they were us? What do we say if we were even the ones that gave these bits of information out and so begin to lose precious things like money and all that? This is the idea behind phishing. Now, let's join the head cybercrime section of the EFCC, Abba Sambo Usman, for details on what phishing is all about.
Phishing is typically committed using an email. It's a form of crime in which the target is to obtain personal identifiable information of a person. Typically, an email is sent to a person or to several number of people. The aim of such an email is for them to divulge information that can be used, one, to access their banking details so that money can be removed. Two, obtain information about them that is personal, that is only known to them, that can be used to masquerade or pretend to be them somewhere. That is to commit a form of identity theft, to pretend to be them somewhere else. So, the other form is that if they steal your credential, they can access your email. From your email, they can send instruction to your bank to transfer money, or they can send email to your friends or to your contact stating that you are in some form of distress and you need a form of financial support. So mostly what we see are what? Phishing emails. These emails that come into our inbox pretending to be from our bank, telling us that our bank is updating this or updating that, and that we need to click a link. Now, the link, if you click that link, a malware can be installed on your computer. So the malware can either be a spyware that whatever you are typing, it is recording and sending somewhere else. It can be a remote access Trojan, something. It will, once it is installed on your system, it allows somebody from distance to take over the control, command and control of your computer. And if you go visit the link, the details that you enter, maybe your name, telephone number, maiden name, you understand, details of your login, or answers to secret questions that you have, either for your email or on your banking platform. Once you type that information, it inevitably goes to the scammer. Once the scammer receives this information, he or she will analyze it. You understand? They can use it to access your email, access your banking platform. If you give your ATM card details, they can use that detail to make purchases somewhere else from your account. So there are a lot of type of scams that can take place using phishing.
Abba Sambo Usman goes ahead to tell us the different types of phishing that exist.
First, the email. It's an email that you receive. It can come from your bank or from an entity that you tend to what? Trust. Typically, people that are conducting business via email, they are mostly at risk of this kind of scams. They can send an attachment. If you are a company that has a lot of customers, that they send invoice, you receive invoice. If you see an email coming from an entity that has a name that is similar to your business partner with an attachment, like named an invoice, you will highly likely download that invoice, thinking that it's a genuine document from your what? Business partner, not knowing that it is what? A malware. And a lot of people, despite the kind of wide awareness that has been created, A lot of people still think that their bank can contact them for this information via email. So a lot of people still do what? Respond to those kind of emails. And what they respond, in a short while, they begin to see money flying out of their accounts. Not only through email. Now, the phishing, they can send it via SMS and ask you to respond, send this detail and send that detail.
There are some red flags that warn people from becoming victims of phishing scam. What are these red flags?
Once you receive an email or an SMS that purports to come from an entity and is asking you to divulge or give out any information, you understand, that can be used against you, then you should know that, you understand, that that email or that communication is highly likely a form of a phishing scam. If it's an email, clearly an email coming from your bank, asking you to enter your card details, enter your username, enter your password, that's really a red flag. An email coming from your bank asking you to go to a link in order to update your details, that's really, really a red flag. And an email coming to you from out of nowhere with an attachment and with a catchy heading and content that is asking you to click on that link and then go somewhere or to download something, it's supposed to be seriously what? A red flag. Because once you click on that thing or you download, you are highly at risk of being defrauded.
Now, the economic and social implications of phishing scam go beyond affecting the perpetrators alone. The scam negatively touches other aspects of the society and the nation at large. Now, our guest today tells us how this happens.
We have seen a lot of instances in which people have lost money. Companies and what? Individuals. Nigerian cyber criminals are now acquiring notoriety in the field of business email compromise. Now, typically, to compromise an email, a form of phishing has to what? Actually take place. That's how they get the login details of the email, and then once they compromise it, you find out that this form of scam is what brings in what? The biggest amount. You find them making upwards of $100,000, up to $1 million. So, where a victim has lost such kind of amount, inevitably there is what? An economic consequence to it. Now, on the social aspect, you find out that these cyber criminals have made hard work to look somehow worthless. Just last week, a lawyer was here with me. He said he has called to bar, post-call to bar, he has over 20 years working experience. And he's seen small boys in his neighborhood that have never worked in their lives, driving the most expensive kind of cars. And sometimes if he's walking along the road, they come and splash dust on him. So socially, it's creating a problem for us here, because a lot of our young men now are not interested in any form of hard work. All they are interested in is how do they start these kind of scams, and then how do they easily make money. Now, we have intelligence that there are a lot of schools all over the country now that are teaching young men how to partake in this kind of scams. They have, just like the way a university is structured, you have from level 1 to level 2 to level 3, you tend to graduate. They teach you the modalities, how to start up to a certain point. And then when you start, if you're able to hit, that is defraud someone, you move to the next class. So you find out that education-wise, these young men don't want to go to school. And they have bastardized our social structure.
When credit card phishing scam takes place, how can victims recover their stolen money?
Ability to recover money that is siphoned from whatever account, either via the use of compromise of card details or from the account itself, depends on the diligence of the investigator. Now, in this kind of approach, you follow the money. The money has moved from account A. It has moved to account B. Go to account B, a corner of account B. So money has entered your account. What is it for? But we are encountering some difficult situations now. in which the money moves from account A to B, and from there it moves to a POS operator. And a lot of these POS operators don't keep records as per guidelines for their operation. So many a times you find out that the POS operator ends up, you understand, having trouble with the law. But if you're able to follow the money, and then before the compromise takes place, the card details must have been obtained in some ways. So how was it obtained? Is it through this phishing? Then there is an IP trail that you can follow, the information relating to the information technology connection that was used to commit the compromise. So once you're able to get that detail, you can walk along two paths. You are following the money, and as well, you are following the trail of the IP connection that was used to commit the compromise. So once you are walking along these two paths, you may need support of some stakeholders along the way, but certainly you will get to where your fraudster is.
Prevention, they say, is better than cure. What steps should everyone take so they don't fall victim to phishing scam?
A lot of email providers have done one thing. They have settings that ensure that emails that come from spam do not actually enter the inbox. So at the level of some service providers, they have done something like that. But for us as individuals, the most important thing is for us to be careful and to be alert. When we receive these emails, analyze the content. Are we expecting the email? Is it from a trusted entity? If you have any suspicion about the origin of an email or what actually to do with it, I think the best thing is to call. If it's from your bank, call your bank to confirm. I've received this email before you actually act. If it's purporting to come from a business partner, call the person and confirm, I have received this from you before you act. So typically, if you receive these kind of emails and you have suspicion, don't open it, don't do anything about it. If you are not expecting and you have no means of confirming, just delete it. Now, there is a form of phishing that is called spear phishing, that is actually targeted as a person, as opposed to the one that they send en masse to a lot of people. If it's targeted at you, meaning that prior to the attack, they have obtained a lot of information about you to ensure that it succeeds. To be honest, in this kind of situations, it has a high rate of success. But in either case, one should be extremely, extremely careful. And then whenever you receive the email that is asking for any other information, use an alternative means to confirm the content of the email before you actually respond.
As the head of the cybercrime section of the EFCC, what are you doing to tackle cybercrime, seeing that phishing is majorly perpetrated in the cyberspace?
We are doing a lot. We are doing a lot. Now, Nigerian cyber criminals operate as a syndicate. So we are gathering intelligence on the activities of these syndicates, targeting the syndicates and then disrupting the activities of the syndicate. Disruption means identifying all the members of the syndicate, arresting them, and bringing them all to justice. And whenever we come across an emerging trend, which means a new trend, as much as possible, as soon as that happens, we get in touch with our public affairs department and let them know that we have come across this new type of scam. Kindly engage the public to create awareness so that more and more people do not fall victims. And we ensure that during the course of the prosecution of these cases, as much awareness as possible is created so that it acts as a deterrent in a lot of people.
For people who have already been scammed by phishing criminals, what advice does Usman have for them?
As soon as one has become a victim, the first thing is to report to your bank. If as a result of it, your banking details has been compromised, report to your bank. They have toll numbers that you can call. Once you call them, they block the account. The next thing is gather all the details you have and approach law enforcement. If you're coming to EFCC, EFCC has a lot of, it has platform on the social media. It's the official EFCC on Facebook, official EFCC handle on Twitter that one can reach. We have an email, info@efccnigeria.org, that one can use to send information to us. If you're close to any of the EFCC offices, one can put his petition in writing, attach the necessary documents, and then submit at the office.
Abba Sambo Usman also has a piece of advice for everyone as we end this segment of the program.
My advice is simple. Be extremely careful. Be suspicious of any email that you receive or any communication that purports to come from an entity that is asking you to divulge information that can be used to either compromise you or used to steal money from your account, or that can be used, you understand, to masquerade as you.
My people, you see, time don't come where we go stop to grumble. Make we talk about this matter where they table. Before this country go fumble, come tumble. Time don't come where we go hold ourselves accountable and responsible. See as corruption make man pikin dey miserable. See as the hunger dey unbearable. Electricity no dey stable. Our roads no dey reliable. Education no dey affordable. Even elections myself, e no dey credible. Who we go hold responsible? But una know say a great Nigeria dey possible. This cankerworm called corruption, e dey curable. Me and you, we dey able, we dey capable, and together we go create an economy that is sustainable. That is why I dey beg all of una, make una support the EFCC so that we fit kick this nyamanyama thing wey they call corruption comot for this country. I beg, make una support EFCC.
This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
You're still watching The Eagle, your anti-corruption program from the stables of the EFCC. And today our searchlight is on the evils of phishing scam. Now, when you use other people's identity as the key to defraud them or others, there's sure to be repercussions. The EFCC makes sure of that. In order not to fall into the net of the eagle, desist from phishing scam and any other form of economic and financial crime, it offends the EFCC just as it offends Nigeria. In fact, famous American-born broadcaster John Coleman once said, and I quote, "It is the greatest crime in history. I am amazed, appalled, and highly offended by it." End of quote. Now, if you don't want to fall into the hands of phishing scammers, then pay attention to what Abbas Abubakar has to tell you.
Be cautious about all the communication you receive. If it appears to be a phishing communication, do not respond. Delete it. Do not click on any links listed in the email. Do not open any attachments contained in a suspicious mail. Be wary of messages asking for confidential information, especially if they ask for personal details or banking information. Do not enter personal information on a pop-up screen. Legitimate companies, agencies, and organizations do not ask for your personal details or information through pop-up screens. Install a phishing filter on your email application and also on your web browser. These filters will not keep out all phishing messages, but they will reduce phishing attempts. Be sensible and smart while browsing online and checking your mail. Phishing messages are usually punctuated with lots of typographical errors, so look out for them. If a message looks suspicious, please read it again. Be wary of threats and urgent deadlines. They may threaten you with fines or closure of account if you do not fill in your details at a stipulated time. Ignore them. It's phishing scammers at work. Browse using a secure website indicated by HTTPs and a security log icon in the browser's address bar, especially when submitting sensitive information online such as details on your bank and other cards. Protect your computer and mobile phone by using security software that updates automatically. Protect your account by using multi-factor authentication. This means you need 2 or more extra credentials to log into your account. With these, scammers find it more difficult or almost impossible logging into your account and stealing your information. I am Abbas Abubakar for The Eagle.
In the words of the German philosopher, cultural critic, and writer Friedrich Wilhelm Nietzsche, whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process, he does not become a monster, end of quote. It's in the hands of everyone, you and me, to fight economic and financial crimes. But as we do that, we must make sure we're not a part of the crime in any way. Desist from economic and financial crimes and let's make Nigeria a better place. Otherwise, the EFCC will get you anywhere, anytime. And if you ever see something, say something, and the EFCC will surely do something. Now, this is where we end this edition of The Eagle. We'll be on this station again, same time next week for another edition of the program. But before then, you can share your thoughts on this program by sending them to theeagle@efccnigeria.org. I take it again, theeagle@efccnigeria.org. You can follow us on all our social media platforms at official EFCC. Do you have petitions? Please send them to info@efccnigeria.org. Again, info@efccnigeria.org. Or you can personally go to any of our offices closest to you for matters concerning economic and financial crimes. My name is Martha Eche, wishing you a wonderful week. God bless you. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.